Mr. Clark, you hit my son.
Forgot his protractor.
I don't want you doing it.
Thank you for your concern, Mrs. O'Grady.
Here it comes. Oh, no.
Women always come second until
We get equal pay, yeah.
This needs a leader, someone to inspire the girls.
What?
You can do this, and you should.
Now we got all this unrest at work.
Unrest when you actually come out and strike.
This is about one thing. Equal pay or nothing. Everybody, out!
Well, it's got nothing to do with me.
See, and it's this movie is why your girlfriend kept talking back to you, co-host, because she thinks she can now.
What girlfriend? The toaster.
Yeah, thanks to the girls in 1968 in Britain who said, you know what, we're tired of this shit. We're tired of being treated this way. And, you know.
Wait, was it John Cleese dressed as a woman?
I do kind of look like a pepper pot these days.
No, and this is where everything changed, and women decided that they had a voice all of a sudden. And after that, it's been a downhill, like just bad road after that for all of us hardcore robots and men. Right? Right, guys?
Okay, guys.
God
so
damn it.
If any of us get a time machine, we got to let Hitler slide, because this is the first thing we got to take care of.
Yeah. There are more important things. We'll get to that whole Hitler thing later, all right?
You know, it's funny. Like, this took place at a Ford plant where it was like, there was only something like 100 women who worked for Ford, something like that. Not very many.
Yeah.
In a couple different plants, and like 20 in the one that it really focuses at in Dagenham or or whatever, which is the
Dagenham.
The movie's called Made in Dagenham.
A place you'll never visit.
Probably not. It looked like Flint, Michigan, with British accent.
Damn, that's bad.
Yeah. But they were the people who sewed the seats together and the lining in the car and everything.
Okay.
And basically, they weren't getting anywhere near equal pay. They were being forced to work overtime without pay. I mean, it wasn't like nightmarish conditions, but it wasn't real good.
I was gonna
No,
say,
it wasn't no sweatshops.
a 14-year-old girl in Cambodia is going, "Cry me a river."
Nobody opened up a door and there was nothing but dead chicks hanging out because the heater fucked up.
At this point, all throughout the world, women were paid like half what men were for the exact same jobs. Okay, and
rightfully so.
I know.
I don't understand what everyone's complaining
they
about.
can't see as well over their breasts,
Yeah.
so they can't. They're doing half the work,
And they have to do dishes. You know, there's a time frame there that we got to keep to.
I'm glad you're playing this role.
I love this role. I'll never get tired of it.
So anyway, they decided with getting behind one woman, Rita O'Grady, played by Sally Hawkins, who you might remember from Happy Go Lucky, who played the main character in that, who's amazing. She's the one who goes, you know what, I know we're all tired of this, but I'm the one who's actually got the wherewithal and the intelligence to do something about it. So she starts standing up and organizing walkouts and just the whole plan against the Ford Motor Company. And it's funny because like one of her friends who's like, it seems like he's like a shop manager. I'm never entirely clear. I mean, he's part of the union, but is played by Bob Hoskins, who is hysterical because he's almost like Machiavellian, but with joy about the whole thing.
Yeah.
He's like going, man, this is great watching these chicks freak out like this and yell and scream. This is awesome. He's like, hey, come here, Sally. You know what you should totally do? This will be awesome.
That's just great. He's like, oh, you gonna take that? Like whenever they have a meeting, the guy would look at the chick. Hey, you gonna take that from that man over there? Huh? Are you?
Yeah,
Burn.
He's one of the funniest things about this.
He is. He was.
He's just
he was
such
the
a
best part.
rabble-rouser.
Yeah.
But you know, it's interesting because this led to the first Equal Pay Act, which was like pretty much ratified in almost every country, like first world country around the world. Oh, except one first world country. Where is it? There's still no legal equal rights of men and women in the workplace. I can't remember. Oh, it's the United States.
Thank
that's
God. It's the only country with any kind of brains.
This was actually a surprising amount of fun. It's got that whole Mad Men tone to it, as far as like the way it's that exact period of time, and it's the the beehive hairdos, and that sort of like they're pulling in all these elements of the time that are and having fun with them.
You're waiting for Austin Powers to show up in every scene. I mean, it's that kind of fun.
It's
Everything's so
comical.
colorful. Yeah, but it is. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, it's not. It's a fictional story based on an event that actually happened, but none of the characters apparently are real people.
Yeah.
But regardless of that, they still make it to where it's fun. Yet, they're telling you exactly what was going on around the time with these poor broads who were like busting their ass, busting their humps, and at the same time, they all live in this community where their husbands work at this plant too. But the thing is, they were all in support of their husbands when their husbands were out striking at one point.
Yeah.
So it was really comical when it's their turn to strike and they're like looking at their husbands, "Hey, honey, you going to support me?" No. But remember that time? Yeah, so what? Should you be cooking right now? What are you doing? Causing trouble. Yeah.
I felt like one of the only problems I had with this film was that relationship, or the way the men reacted,
Yeah.
they go too far with it. I mean, there's like something that happens with one of the guys
do the men
in
beat him?
here. Well,
Yeah,
no,
almost.
but there's something even worse than that
Yeah.
happens. Like, really that would happen?
Yeah.
That I had a hard time swallowing. It was like, okay.
It gets to the
kind
point-
of melodramatic.
It gets to the point where like it seems like all the husbands are like fucking real dicks. You're just like, wow. I'm surprised these chicks aren't just going, you know what? We got to get the fuck out of here.
There's so many characters in this film, like female characters especially, and they're all, even the one, you'd be like, I have no idea who that actress is. I couldn't tell you what the character's name is, but they're each so distinctive in their personality. They're like the aliens in the cantina scene in Star Wars in their own way. They're very distinctive looking,
They are.
and they're very funny. Also good is like later as it goes along, Miranda Richardson comes into the film as Secretary of State, who ends up getting their back, but just even she has to be convinced. But she's just a spitfire.
Oh, yes. One more thing. Set up a meeting, will you?
Minister?
With the machinists, their leaders.
Pardon me?
I want to meet them. At the earliest opportunity.
But
Yes?
the minister doesn't do that. Never has done.
It'll just encourage them.
Give credence to their cause.
I am what is known as a fiery redhead. Now, I hate to make this a matter of appearance and go all womanly on you, but there you have it. And me standing up like this is, in fact, just that redheaded fieriness leaping to the fore. Credence? I will give credence to their cause. My God! Their cause already has credence! It is equal pay. Equal pay is common justice, and if you two weren't such a pair of egotistical, chauvinistic, bigoted dunderheads, you would realize that. Oh, my office is run by incompetence, and I am sick of being patronized, spoken down to, and generally treated as if I was the May Queen. Set up the meeting!
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's like she's the first person in the whole film that's any competition at all for Sally Hawkins, the main character.
She's playing Ann Richards, basically.
Yeah, she's not going to take any shit from anyone. And then she goes in, she tells them, look, we'll eventually give you something, but you need to calm down. And the main character's like, go fuck yourself.
I got you come right here.
What? What? There's lots of moments like that with her just standing up to people. And I think, like, I love anti-authoritarian films, like where it's just about defying authority when it's wrong. I mean, I love that. And this is one of the more fun films with that. I mean, it doesn't want to make you angry. It wants to make you cheer. And it does a good job of that.
It does. It's really fun at that. And, like, all the individual characters are entertaining characters. I mean, they really convince you that all these girls are friends. And even I love there's a little storyline here where one of the chicks is like the hot one.
Yeah.
So the company realizes that. So they're like, hey, if you do a little bit for us, we can do a little bit for you. And it causes some problems there. But I thought that was the real interesting part of the story. But even though it's a small bit in this movie, it's a small storyline that I really thought they should have probably played that out a bit more.
Yeah.
And I also thought they should have played it out a bit more with the relationships with the husbands. Like really dive into that. Because it felt like it was wrapped up a little too neatly for me in this film.
Well,
but that's not saying it's a bad thing.
Only the one relationship that I didn't want to discuss earlier is anything going on in depth, and then the one between the main character Sally and her husband, where he's the one guy he's trying so hard because he knows she's right, but things are getting so bad because they're on strike and they're pretty poor to begin with, and he's trying to stand by her, but just life has turned into shit, and so every once in a while he's like snapping at her. He's like, "No, sorry." sorry. Didn't mean that. Which is, you're already pretty clear who wears the pants in that film.
Yeah, that guy was like, "Oh, I got to eat tonight." Shit.
Yeah, there ain't no equal rights in that household. I'll tell you that. Somebody is in charge.
But I did like the portrayal of the actress who was playing the lead. I can't for the life of me remember
Sally
who
Hawkins.
she is. Yeah, Sally Hawkins. She was really great. And the thing is, like, you do sympathize with her because she has this thing that she does with her face where she's like really like screaming for the plight of these women, and she looks like she's about to bust out crying in every scene. So you're like, oh, is it that bad, sweetie?
She's so...
Oh, you want to pat her on her head and go, oh, don't worry, honey.
There,
it'll be all right.
Yeah.
Go
Stop.
down.
No, go away.
No, I thought you were taking the opposite role.
It was so you should have seen what co-host was, how he was gesticulating.
Man, you just cannot put your hand on a girl without trying to push her head down. Can you?
I was looking at Cyrus, like, doesn't this chick know there are better ways of negotiating?
The thing is, you're right though. She's like they've got this weird mix between strong and vulnerable. Because when she's just talking to people, she's like really like, no, this is bullshit. We're not gonna take it. But when she's up there speechifying, she's like, and we're going to do this, and no one. And you're like, Jesus Christ, get this woman a Kleenex.
You want to scream at her and go, don't you know you have a vagina, the most powerful weapon in the universe?
Yeah, a Green Lantern ring is nothing compared to that.
No. Of course she knows. She's a support system for it. Sorry, that's a terrible old misogynist joke.
From you, Cyrus.
From me.
I'm disappointed.
I know, I'm disappointed.
I'm just looking at Leon's reaction like, how dare you? That's somebody's mother up there.
From now on, I'm going to be paid less than co-host. So,
goddamn. Well,
you mean even less?
Yeah.
But you know what? I really enjoyed this film. This is one of the films that totally it's after my own heart. I love this sort of thing, and it's a full price movie for me. I felt at the end, I felt like getting up and marching with these ladies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have to say, for me, it's a full on matinee, and as much as it is a full price, I thought. The only thing keeping it from full price is I thought it was a little too wrapped up too nicely. It was like a nice little package deal.
Yeah.
And as much as I really dug the story, I was actually interested in the real story, because the way they played it out, it seemed just a little too, I don't know, by the numbers for
cute.
me. Maybe that was the problem too, because, it was just a little too cute to where I was like, it's a good story, but I think if they would have taken it a bit more seriously, actually introduced characters who actually helped really instill this law, because at the end of the movie they actually show the women who are actually involved with this whole movement.
Yeah.
And I was really interested. Like, wow, I want to know their stories. But that's the only thing keeping it from a full price for me. Just because, maybe it was just a little too cute, but I did have a lot of fun. I think anyone not interested in this type of story, they'll have a fun time watching it. It won't bore you.
See, what baffles me
cool,
is we've done this whole review, and all of a sudden in the end, co-host is like, feminism is very important to me.
I know he does a PSA. Hey, little star goes by, the more you know.
I still got to get laid after. Sorry. I'm not that stupid.
Equal pay for women is right.
That's my girl.
What if Mrs. Castle says no deal? How will you cope then?
Cope? We're women. Now, don't ask such stupid questions.